Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hello, welcome and welcome back to the
Yes.
Conscious Spirit podcast.
Yeah. I'm Pam for
I'm Mari-Lyn.
if you're just new or whatever. Yes.
We're just a little discombobulated today.
Yes, we
We
are.
are recording this on the day of a full moon. It
And
is a full super moon in Aquarius,
yes,
and man, it is powerful energy.
yes. And my moon sign is Aquarius. So I'm being hit a little. If you have Aquarius sort of in your chart somewhere in the, there's placements that are really affect you more than other placements. Anytime, whatever the moon is in, whatever sign, you're going to get a
Yeah, and if you're like me, it doesn't matter what your sign is, you are affected by the moon.
Yes, yes,
in every stage.
yes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say the more you walk your spiritual path, I don't know. That's one of those. Oh, so it happens more and more, is what I was going to say. And then I'm going to switch gears and say that's another one of those things we were just talking about earlier. There are certain words and terms that aren't beautiful anymore.
Right.
They have been over, and journey is the one of those words. Your journey. This is my journey. This is like, it so cheapens it now.
Yeah.
And
There's
it's
a
like my
lot of
truth.
words. Yeah.
And it's like, meh. Yeah. So, but as you grow with spirit, you grow in that fullness, that expansion, you heal more, you open to the possibilities and the opportunities. The moon cycle, the planets really affect you.
Yeah. As you open up to the energies, you feel them.
Amen.
You feel them
Yeah, man.
more. And it takes a while to recognize that, oh wow, this is outside energy. This is the moon energy. And excuse me, this morning I had to actually set the intention to accept the moon energy as opposed to fighting it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it didn't dawn on me at first why I was feeling the way I did. And it was just like,
Yes. So
maybe I need to eat to feel better. And so I ate, and it's like, what is what the?
yes.
Yeah. So inviting in that energy and accepting it and allowing the expansion that my physical body needed to accept it.
Yes.
Um,
And drinking lots and lots of water and protein.
Yeah.
And eating some protein are both extremely helpful in those times.
Yeah.
But yes.
So, in a sense, earlier this morning, I was being of the energy I was feeling.
Good segue, sister.
Now, I am not of that energy.
Right.
The energies are still happening out there. I have allowed myself to what have I allowed myself to do? I just went blank.
Yeah, to not be. So woo-hoo. One of the things that we talked about before we got on here, there was a lot to do. Mari-Lyn gave me a little healing. We did a full moon meditation. We did some things. And one of the things that she said to me is, don't be of it.
Yeah.
And we thought, oh, what a great topic for today. And so that's when I said, great segue. Because she would, and then you blew it by forgetting what you were saying.
So I allowed the energy to run through me.
Yes.
And now I can just be and allow the energies to do
yes
whatever it is they need to do. I am no longer of it. I'm not wrapped up in it. I'm not in the middle of it. I'm not trying to fight it, or I'm not controlling it.
Yes. Yes.
That's a big part of not being of it, is that control piece.
And that vision you saw of being, for those of you who, it's kind of like being in the eye of the storm, but
right.
Those of you who've seen the movie Poltergeist, the original.
The original.
I haven't seen there's been remakes and stuff, and I haven't seen them, so I don't know.
Me either.
But the original, where things were flying all around in a circle in the room, and Mari-Lyn was getting that visual, but she was just standing there very calmly.
Right in the center. Just going, huh? Okay.
Just, yep.
Okay.
Which is a great place to be with any sort of chaos going on around you.
Yes. Yes. It is a learned thing for most people.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, not to be rude, but if you're a dissociator, sure, you can do that. You could be in the middle of chaos and not get wrapped up in it.
And being a dissociator for, gosh, I don't know how many years. Yeah, but it's not healthy. It's not a healthy way to not be in it.
Right.
Yes, it's that's chaos in itself. Like, that's another version of chaos. But yes, you just take yourself out. But this is being present, being grounded.
Being present. Yeah.
Watching all the chaos happen around you, and just not feeling the need to jump in. And
not jumping in, not trying to control it, not trying to fix it.
Yes.
And for me, not trying to counter it.
Yes. Yes.
Because when you try to counter it, like by being overly exuberant or overly, I don't know what the term would be, but changing the subject.
Yes. Or in quotes, helping someone, or helping, because I'm helping. Yeah. No.
Just being.
Yes.
And sometimes it's a very subdued place to be, but it's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just got this picture in my head, but I did.
Okay.
Years and years and years ago, our kids were small, and we would still do like Christmas and Thanksgiving with family, which I don't anymore. But with my family, none of us do. But anyway, we had gone over, I think it was a Thanksgiving, and it was like a buffet. Excuse me. And I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. So my sisters and sisters-in-law and I were all going through the buffet line, getting our plates. So we go to sit down, and all of the women hand their plates to their husbands, and I just sat down and started eating. I was like, and oh, did I get shit for that? And of course, my husband, he does not need me. He does not care if he's not hoping that I serve him or whatever. That's not, if you knew him, you would know that. But so he starts playing it up. He starts looking all sad, like, where's my dinner? And my sisters are fawning all over him, and my sisters-in-laws, and they're like, oh, poor Mike. Oh, Pam does. And they started ripping on me for not, and I'm just sitting there eating. And it was so funny. And finally, Mike was like, okay, stop. No, I don't ask my wife to get my food for me. I don't expect it. I can get my own food. So then he got up and but isn't that funny? That was what just came.
I swear, I wanted to ask you if you just made that story up.
Really? Oh,
yes.
No.
That is wrong on so many levels. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yes.
Codependent much?
I know, right? My family was so codependent, as we all know, as I talk about it. Yes. And the need for these, and my brothers, And the husbands, I mean, get your own shit. Like, stop it. Just stop.
Now,
But they would, yes.
in my family,
Mhm.
if something like that were to happen,
Uh-huh.
it would be probably two women, and they would be doing the plates for
For
everybody.
everybody. Oh,
Everybody.
that does happen a little bit too, but no,
But
it's
that doesn't, unless we're having hot soup, you know.
oh.
But no, and no, and I'm just dumbfounded.
Yes. Yes, it was just,
Wow. But
and then the shit they gave me because I just sat down and started eating. Mike wasn't hungry yet. He didn't, he was, and he could get his own. Like, it never occurred to him to think that I was going to make his plate for him.
right.
Yeah. Once
And
in a while,
I know him, and I can actually see him playing that up. And
oh, yes, right?
yeah.
He got this, like, oh, I'm so abused kind of looks like, you fucker. You need to stop that.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and he'll do it for me more than I do it for, like, he'll go get himself like a dessert or something, and he'll grab a dessert and bring me a dessert, something like that. But like a whole plate of food, and how do I know what he wants? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
My husband is more likely to dish my plate than I am to dish his
yeah,
plate. And it just doesn't, just
no,
doesn't.
no,
I'm not above asking him, especially if he's like wrapping something up.
yes, if he's busy doing something,
Do
absolutely.
you want me to fix your plate?
Yeah,
99.9% of the time he says no.
right,
On a very rare occasion, he'd say that'd be great, thank you.
sure.
But
And nothing's right, and it's polite if I'm in the kitchen and I'm making myself something, I'll ask him if he wants something. Like, I'm making this, do you want some too? Or whatever. I mean, that's a polite thing to do. But to go get it, and I'm sorry, those, if you're out there and you're screaming at us because it's what you do and you think it's, and that's your lifestyle.
it is. It is.
Because I don't judge other people's marriages or how that's up to you. I really don't. But it was just, that picture came in.
That's hilarious.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. Yeah.
That
Not,
is hilarious. Yeah. Talk about being of it.
huh.
That is
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. So,
Totally being of it.
and of course,
Oh,
that's before, I mean, they've already started drinking at that point, of course, because they all do. And then after dinner's when the heavy drinking started, and that's when I'd be, okay, kids, time to go. And they'd be like, no, because they wanted to play with all their cousins. I'm the youngest in the family, and then I have the youngest kids as well. So they loved seeing all their, with a big family like that, there's lots of cousins, and mom, no. Now they get it. Now they're like, oh, thanks, mom, for not keeping us there. Because there were, I mean, fist fights. I mean, it would turn into just this major thing once everyone drank. And then I had my oldest brother, and then one of my brothers-in-law would bring wine with their name on the label, and who has the better, it's like, oh my God, like I
I
can't.
can't imagine growing up like that. I can't imagine being in that.
Oh, the chaos.
Me being the raging drunk that I was.
Yes, but you didn't grow up in it.
Did not grow up in it.
No, I certainly did. Yes.
No. My grandparents on my mother's side, my mom's parents, they drank beer. They lived in Seattle though.
Oh, okay.
And so I didn't see them on a regular basis.
That's a few hours away.
Even when we did visit as kids, grandpa just got a little louder. He got a little stupider, funnier.
Yeah.
And then pretty soon they were both asleep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just, that's what happens to me when I drink. I fall asleep. I'm out. Yeah. Oh no, that would have been nice. And all heard us talk about this, but growing up in that, though I'm not an alcoholic or I have no drug issues or whatever, other than sugar. which I've really been doing great with for months.
Good.
But I still have addict behavior.
Yeah.
And there are times when you'll say, oof, Pam. Usually it's I'll ask. I'll say, because I'll know I'm doing something that doesn't feel right, or there's some behavior or something, and I'll ask Mari-Lyn. And actually, just today, no wonder we're talking about this.
Yeah.
You said,
Interesting.
that's addict behavior that you're in right now. I'm like, wow, okay. And that's so helpful to hear. It's so helpful to hear. Because I don't want to be, that's adopted, that's trying to keep yourself safe, that's learned behavior. Don't want it.
It's a program that just does not need to be on, does not need to be running.
Right. Yes. No.
Control Alt Delete those programs.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you helped me with that today with our.
Well, thank you.
That healing you gave me, because it's time. So what happened was I stopped a behavior, but I didn't come to a nice balanced place. I swung all the way over to counter it. And Mari-Lyn's like, oof, no, we need to bring you back to the center and that's, I believe, when you said, don't be of it.
There was something going on. It was in your brain. It was being recalibrated, and you're like, oh my God. And I'm like, don't be of it. Just allow it.
And very typical, typical of just having a really good healing is you don't even remember what it was. Because it's not when it's not who you are at your core, after healing, you won't even barely remember what that was. Or sometimes you might remember what it was, but you're certainly not feeling it anymore. Like it's, although, some of those deeper programs takes more than one healing. So although this has, I've worked on it. So yes, don't be of it.
Don't be of it.
Yes.
It's an uncomfortable place, an uncomfortable thing to learn.
Yeah.
Not to be of it.
Oh.
And we do it in so many different ways. We do it with our brain, but we also do it with our body.
Yes. You want to talk about that?
Being in it with our body. I guess the best way to describe it for me is, instead of
slouching,
jumping in and like trying to fix something, I will internalize it.
Oh.
And my body takes the brunt of the punishment.
Yes.
I work it out in my body, and heartburn.
Yes.
Muscle aches.
For me, it's the nausea.
Your gut.
My lower back, one side of my back will.
I'm sure that is part of what my sciatic problems were. Right? Yeah. You actually manipulated my body energetically.
Yes. Yes.
And I don't have that sciatic pain anymore. But what happened to my body to make it all contorted was all that internalized.
Yep. And it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
And they're coming around now to understand, whoever they are, understanding that our body holds all those emotions and all those memories. And yes.
The first time I ever was exposed to that was a visit with an osteopath.
Oh, okay.
And he was working on my stomach, on my diaphragm, and he had hit it, and there was this huge reaction because it hurt. And he started talking about, you might have some memories that come up. You might have The
Wow.
emotion that comes up, well, I will be damned if he wasn't right.
Yeah.
What came up for me was I used to take care of horses, and I was cleaning the hooves,
Mhm.
and she kneed me, and it took my breath away,
Yeah.
like completely. I'm like,
Yeah.
couldn't breathe,
No.
in panic mode.
How
My
scary.
dad is with me,
Mhm.
and he did nothing. Now, what's he supposed to do?
Right.
There's nothing you can do. Your body has to recover.
And I'm going to say, sometimes in that moment, especially when we're a child, we see something different. So he might have actually said something or done, but at that moment, you remember him doing nothing.
I remember nothing.
Yeah.
He probably did. He probably said, just relax, you're fine.
Yeah.
Just breathe. It'll come back. I'm sure of it
Yes.
now.
Right.
But I felt so abandoned. He didn't have my back. He wasn't there for me. And I held that.
Yes.
Um,
And I might add, he might have panicked himself and went into panic mode, fight, flight, freeze,
very
you
possible.
know? And so
Very
whatever he
possible.
did, yeah. So not on
Which,
purpose
you
though.
know, could make sense because he wasn't used to being around the horses.
Ah,
It was usually, well, I was usually there alone. They usually dropped me off, and he just happened to be there.
uh,
And it could have been very traumatizing for him to see his
absolutely.
daughter, this
Yes.
animal, knees her in the gut, and she,
She can't breathe. She's, yes. Yeah.
I should ask him going over there later. I should ask him if he
Yes.
remembers that. Um, that was, man, that was a long time ago. Oh my gosh. That was probably 50 years ago,
Wow.
really close to 50 years ago.
I I like to see if he remembers. He probably
Yeah.
won't, but he might. It might have been very traumatic where he does remember.
It'll be interesting to see. I hope I remember to ask. Um, anyway, that came up. The emotion that followed that was mind boggling.
Yeah. Clearly,
And
and it stayed with you. Your
that was
your
my
Dave
first,
held on to that. Mhm.
yeah, yeah. That was my first experience with another person telling me and experiencing that our body holds on to memory.
Not
Mhm.
an MD, I might add, because MDs just
Nope.
hand you a prescription and say, take this every day for or whatever.
Nope. He was a DO, doctor of osteopathy, I think.
Yes.
I don't remember. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yep. So our bodies, yes, they hold on to everything. And that's part of healing too. It's certainly the energy healing,
Hmm.
the multi-dimensional energy healings. We're all multi-dimensional people. Do you
Right.
remember when, I'm sure you do, when that started coming in for me? Because you were my guinea pig from the very beginning with Deva healings.
Yes.
And yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So for when you're learn, it doesn't matter what you're doing, but certainly in our profession, whether it's being a psychic or a medium, a healer, which for us, it's all wrapped up in healer. Everything we do is wrapped up in healer.
Everything.
And
Yep.
it comes in stages. And the more you learn, the more you practice and you're in it and you move through it, you get more, you learn more, spirit brings you more, or you learn from, my teacher friend right there. We learn from each other. That's one of the sad things I'm going to say about this profession is such a singular session. People
Yeah.
people are like you always see the lone psychic. They might have some psychic friends or some whatever, but they don't practice together. They don't commune. They don't share ideas, and they're so very jealous of each other all the time. Like, oh, she's going to know more. If I tell her, then she's going to know.
Yeah. And how much is lost?
Then I'm not going to be as good or whatever because she's going to know.
Yeah. How much learning is lost? How much
Yeah.
community is lost, and how much healing is lost?
Yes. And that's part of it too. They're not healed. There's so many unhealed healers out there.
Because we cannot heal by ourselves. Yes, there's a certain amount we have to do ourselves. We cannot.
No.
We cannot perform our own appendectomy.
That's a good point. Now, I am something being brought to my attention, and it's to show a difference or something, because of course I'm sitting here arguing with Fred because that's what I do.
That is what you do.
In our videos, our paranormal videos, we do clearings and we talk about things, we do reactions and ghost POVs, etc. And there are things that we hold back on.
Sure.
Because people watch our videos to, another quote thing, to learn, and they've learned things from, but we're not teaching them the how. And it's a little, Mari-Lyn and I feel like it's a disservice to say more on those videos because people think they know, then, they're not ready to know that information. I guess that's where, so when I talked about building on top of each other, we've had years and years and years and years of experience doing this. So for someone, which a lot of them do, maybe not a lot, I don't know how many, we really don't know how many, but they watch our videos to learn. Mm-hmm. And they think they know how because they're watching us. Mm-hmm. And they're often learning before their time to learn. Mm-hmm. And that's when we get those emails, and we know things happen and we don't hear about it.
Learning before your time, you miss out.
Yes.
On so much. Sometimes you go from A to C. Well, B is crucial.
Yes.
And you jumped over it.
And that's also why you and I do one-on-one, because even in a group, someone can miss something. So one-on-one, you're making sure that person learns step by step for them. Everyone learns so differently and understands.
Everyone learns so differently.
And executes it differently.
Yes. And even in one-on-one, it's easy to miss when someone has leapfrogged.
Yes.
Because you can pretend to know. You can fool a psychic. We're human. We are human first.
Well, but we're not looking at that either. We're not sitting there thinking, is this person lying to me? Or we're trying, like, there's certain things we can't do. I can't tell you if you're getting it or not. I don't know that. That's why we ask.
Yeah. Energetically, there are some things you can go, no, wait a minute.
Yes.
Hold up, back up.
Yes. Yes.
But not everything. Not everything.
If we know it's your wounding that makes you afraid to say you missed it, or could you say that again, or I didn't quite get that. But sometimes it could be a while before you really understand that.
Yep. And if you're going through A, B, C, and D, and you get to D and you're like, wait a minute, what happened here? And you gotta back up, because
and as a teacher, we are, what is the term? So I get the exact words. Don't be of it. We are, there's a teacher mode that you get into, and you're really in your own lane. You're helping that person, and there's a flow of the energy, but we're not psychically reading everything.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure where we got on that. Who knows? We just moved on along, trotted on along. And that, I will say, that's for everyone, even an accountant or a barista or a teller or whatever it is that you do for, not just for a living, just in life as well. Mm-hmm. You have to, learn how to scoot, then to get on all four, then to crawl, and there's so many steps to walking and then running.
And then crawling on not your hands and knees, but your hands and feet.
Yes.
Like that little one we saw.
We went out to lunch the other day, and there's a food court, it has food trucks and a little play area, and there was the cutest little toddler in there. Oh my gosh, and he was walking on hands and feet, not on his knees. And then he just kind of squat down and fall. It was so cute.
That's been like 3 or 4 days ago. He might be walking by now.
He might be, because he was
might be. He was
he was so
close.
close.
So
he
close.
was so cute. So cute.
So you said, how did we get on this? Well, not being of it
Yes.
applies to every area of our life. And
true.
Being a teacher, a mentor, an instructor, a good friend, practicing not being of it and staying in your own lane is really important.
Yes. So
because when instructing someone, even if it's just, sharing something with a friend, this doesn't have to be like strict schooling.
So I just got really clear. It's not about you. And that's so, when you're in it, you're making it about you. And it isn't. It just isn't about you.
It isn't. Mm-hmm. It's not my business to be reading
correct
everything about what you're doing and what you're getting. It is my job to hold space for you.
Yes.
It is my job to be open to what you're sharing with me, but it is not my job to be in there micromanaging.
No
trying to manipulate.
No. Like if we're doing some sort of exercise and I'm paying attention to that, but that's all. I'm not paying attention to what you're thinking at the moment, or, I don't know, whatever. It's the job at hand, and that's my job at the moment. We're working on that exercise. I don't know if I'll know you get triggered when you tell me you are, but something else happens.
Or a crazy behavior happens and you're like,
whoa, well done. And that happens once in a while.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't be of it.
Don't be of it.
Don't be of it. That is such wise words. And boy, I wish I would have learned that years ago, like 30. Well, more than that, my whole life. But you can see, as the story I told you earlier, in my family, everyone was paying attention to everyone else. They were all up in everyone else's shit. They were, no, stay in your own shit there, people. Yes, they did. They were all up in everyone's stuff. I learned.
Now there is the extreme opposite.
Yes. That's not healthy either.
It's not.
Yeah.
What is it? Being in your own lane.
Yes.
Like your own lane, and you don't allow anybody to use your lane for nothing.
Yes.
Can't use your lane for pass. Can't use your lane for respite. Can't use your lane for nothing.
No sharing, no connection, none of that. I'm staying. Yeah.
Yeah. Rigid.
That's a good, yes.
Being rigid in minding your own business, being rigid in not sharing your wisdom, being rigid in not accepting wisdom.
Yes. And we all have those people in our family too, I think, right? At least I know I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I won't say which, but I have a brother who he tries to be that, I think, and it's probably his coping mechanism.
Sure.
Oh,
I went through a period of being that.
Well, isn't that when we swing the other direction? right? You're trying to counter something by going completely the other
Yeah.
direction. But really countering it is to come to a nice balance in the middle.
Right.
And it's not.
Man, that's a process. That
Yeah.
is a process. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
absolutely.
Trial and error and yeah.
I do want to ask something. We are not political and I'm not going to get political, but how y'all doing in this political season? Those of you who are in the United States. I hate this time of year. Speaking of staying in your own, like staying out of it, like not taking it so personal, everything that's going on.
I'm laughing because is it political season?
Yeah, she really stays out of it. But I hope you're all, and it's a great time to practice that, is what's coming. It's really a great time because you have two political parties, that's it, lying about each other, and they're getting everyone emotional and up in, sort of swirly and up in shit. So now is a really great time to practice don't be of it.
Yeah.
And when you're not of it, you can see that both sides do some very similar things, and winning is at hand, and that they're going to do whatever they can to win, lie, cheat, steal, etc. But when you're not of it, you can see more clearly what's really happening. So right now in the political season is a great time to practice that. Yes. And Taylor Swift, I will say. Every time I turn on, if I look, you go to like on my computer, I turn it on or whatever, it's Harris, Trump, and Taylor Swift. Like, what? Those three they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Yes.
Well, at least you don't have an 8-year-old girl living in your house.
Yes. Is she a Swiftie?
Boy.
Oh boy. Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes. Which I think is fabulous. I have nothing against. I'm at an age where I don't really care for her music, but I appreciate it. I appreciate her writing and that, how big she's become, and she has so many young fans, and yeah. A lot of Swifties out there.
Quite funny. You get in the car and she says, I want the auxiliary for the No, Taylor Swift. Well, you can't have it. I'm not listening to
whatever it is.
I don't know all the names. It's just hilarious. I had a lot of practice of not being in it, and I was so grateful.
Yes.
To just be able to sit there and go, this is hilarious.
Well, see, there you go. Two opposing sides wanting something different. They're going to do whatever they can to get their way, and you were able to just sit there.
And you know what the best response was? Mom saying, nope, my turn.
Yep, going country or whatever. Yeah.
Y'all know what I choose.
Yep, exactly. Yes. Yeah. I remember when my kids were small, Shania Twain was the next best.
Okay.
Right. So we get in the car, and I have two sons, and my son, I don't know, he was maybe 3 or 4 years old, and he gets it, Mom, I feel like a woman. I'm like, excuse me? What? He wanted that song, I feel like a woman. He just loved that song. Mom, I feel like a woman. So funny. Like, okay, honey.
That's hilarious.
Okay. Yes. Yes. It's so funny. Ooh, but yes, not being of it. And there's lots of ways we can practice that.
Lots of ways.
We just kind of talked about.
Yeah.
Not just with your family, at work, in the bigger sense, like the political sense. I mean, there's so many ways we can learn to not be of it. If we are getting what's coming through now is pay attention how emotional you are getting to other people's stuff.
Yeah.
What they're doing. Because really, most of the time, you don't need to be in there. It really has nothing to do with you.
Right.
It really, you are your own person. You have your own agency. You can make up your own mind. Do I want to be in this or not? Do I really agree with this or not? Is it
Right.
in my business, like with the kids? Is it in my business for an auntie to get in the middle of that? No, it wasn't.
No. Well, although I did say one time, and I put in my request for
Oh,
the music. I think I got ignored, but anyway.
I'm sure you did.
You're absolutely right.
Yes.
How emotional do you get? And how does your physical body feel?
Yes. Yes.
Is there tension? Is there pain?
Right.
Is there, how is your gut? How is your head? Pay attention
Yeah.
to yourself.
Well, what percent is it that they say we stress about? Like 90% of the stuff we stress about, we can't do anything about.
Right.
Right. Yes. What comes to
Yeah.
mind too is like when you're at a job and like your supervisor might say, oh, they might change the rule to whatever, they're in there, the big wigs are in there talking about it now. And you can get all pissed off and freak out
Right.
and oh my
Right.
gosh, they're gonna change. Wow. You can't do a damn thing about it.
And it hasn't even happened.
And it
So
hasn't even happened. You don't even know what's happening yet. Yes.
mm-mm,
Now, if
mm-mm.
you're asked, even if you're asked your opinion on it, which we've all had jobs where the boss will go around to every person and can I have your opinion
Sure.
on this? You give that opinion, but you can't hold on to, you got to let go.
Gotta let it go.
You got
Yeah.
to let it go. You can't be of it
Yeah.
because you're going to just stress yourself out. Yes.
Yeah. It can be so detrimental to your health, your physical
Yeah.
health, your mental health.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 And I think back of when I used to get all up in everyone's shit and how much time I wasted and the stuff that I didn't get done. Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of things that I did not get done. And I'm sure everyone can attest to this. There are days like you're at home and you got like so much done that day and you look and you actually have energy at the end and you look back and you go, wow, I got a lot of shit done today.
Yeah.
I'll bet you were in your own lane doing your own stuff and you weren't being of anyone else's shit.
You weren't of
Just
anything.
you were just doing you, just
Yep.
doing what needed to be done without even thinking about it because,
Yep.
and it's so much more joyful. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
you might
There
be
is
physically tired, but like there's a
there's
reason
no way to
why.
find joy when you are of something outside yourself.
No, correct. Right. Yeah. Nope.
Yeah.
No.
So, everybody knows recently I've taken up disc golf.
Yes.
Excuse me. And when I allow the game to rule me, there is no joy.
None.
Zero.
Yeah. And you're supposed to
I
be out there having fun,
I get angry, I get snippy, and my husband doesn't have fun.
right?
When I use my own agency,
Yes.
when I rule what's
Yes.
happening,
Mhm.
I can throw the worst shots and laugh
Yes.
and go, oh, well, okay, what did I do wrong that time? How can I fix it? But still, there's joy. When you are of something, joy just has such a difficult time finding its way through.
As you're saying that, I know that I would do this with my children and now with my grandson. I have two grandsons, but the other one's still a baby and not, but he'll want to play like I have to get something done. Like he's over at the house and I know that I'm going to start making dinner or something and
Yeah.
he just wants my attention and I can either get it. Well, sometimes I do, but I catch myself thinking like, come on, I don't have time right now. And I start getting, and then it's
Yep.
like, hold on a minute. Dinner can wait. This is silly.
Yes.
So then I change it and I get down on the floor and I hang out with him and I'll be damned if not that like a minute and he got his fill of grandma and then he's off doing something.
Yep.
But if I sit in that energy, then it's going to be a lot more than 1 minute, 2 minutes,
Right?
3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes of just being frazzled. Both of us, then both of us are frazzled.
Both. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. And then you forget things. I mean, it's just awful. So that can be taken so many ways. Don't be
Yes.
of it. Like, get
Yes.
out of yourself. It's not about you. It's not personal.
Yeah.
Yes. So I am just with all the stories today.
You know, it's not personal.
Right.
Nothing
No,
is personal.
no, no.
Even when I throw a bad shot,
Yes.
it's not personal.
No.
I can't tell you what a big epiphany that is for me. I don't even
Yeah.
know how to explain
Yes.
how I'm processing that,
Yes.
because taking it personal is attaching it to my worth,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And how I throw that silly
Right.
piece of plastic
Yes.
has nothing to do with my worth or my value.
And you can only do what you can do. So even like politically, you can vote. That's how you, and then it's going to happen. Whatever the outcome's going to be, the outcome, then you deal
Right.
with it.
Right.
But getting all pissed off and emotional and hating people and it's like, why? You're just, woo, back up. You're taking it way too personal.
Taking it personal.
Hmm.
It's not personal.
No,
Don't be of it.
no, no.
It's not personal.
Take care of yourself and try to be in that place of balance and joy. And yeah, the world is not coming to an end tomorrow. Yeah.
No, nor today.
Nor today. Nope, nor today. I
No.
remember when there was at my husband's office, the my husband purchased it from a couple. That's who, and they would go on vacation, and that was hard with two people out of a small office, two people out of the office, right?
Right.
And I remember Kathy always saying, nothing is life or death, because I would come in to help. That's why I would come in to help answer phones for that week that they were
Mhm.
gone. And she would just say, Pam, nothing is life or death. They can wait until we get back. And I remember her saying, and I remember forgetting that a lot when they would go, and I would be so stressed out, and finally getting it and going, oh, I get what she means now. Yeah. The person on the phone just wants everything right now because they're all up in it and whatever, but they can wait. If it's a claim, we take it here. If it's a this, we take it there. Like, there's always someone, something can be done
Yeah.
at the moment but nothing is life or death. If you don't speak to Kathy or Steve, whatever, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and it always was. Nothing ever came
Always is.
down.
Yep.
There wasn't anything horrible that ever happened. Everything was always just fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I'm sitting here wondering
mhm.
the why it takes some of us so long to learn some of these simple lessons.
Yes. I think
There
because no
has,
one teaches us. It's not taught. It's not thought about.
yeah.
I mean, that could be part, there might be more. If you all know a different let us know in the comments. Seriously, like whatever we're not thinking about right now. Certainly wasn't taught in my house.
No.
Or that angry thing, like mind your own damn business. That's on the right track, but you're not teaching me that.
So that sense of urgency,
Mm-hmm.
I think in my house, that was respect.
Oh, okay. And in that, we found it. that's what part of the healing was today, was my impulsivity.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. But you just landed on it.
Yeah, that it's well, and it goes right along with that instant gratification that has
Yes.
increased as generations have come along. That instant gratification of feeling love and worth.
Yes.
So respect is another one of those things that has been debeautified.
Debeautified. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because there's so many different ways to show respect,
Mm-hmm.
and instant responses really isn't showing respect at all.
To
It's
yourself or the other person or
or
whatever.
to the other person. Sure, every situation is different. Sometimes things require an instant response, but most things don't. And taking the time to be really thoughtful and present with whatever it is that you are responding to is really ultimately a beautiful thing for everybody.
Now, here's something that you're not going to hear me talk about too often. This is where my father's wounding came in with me, not my mother's. When he asked you to do something or asked you something or whatever, you better do it right this second, or there would be an explosion. He would get pissed. So, and my mom, I mean, there were some things with her too, always, but he just came in. I'm not crying. I will often cry when dad comes in.
Often.
He's standing back far enough that I'm not
Yeah.
crying. But yeah, that was something that, he'd ask me to do something, any of it. I mean, any of us kids, but myself, he'd ask, and if I didn't right then, the anger, and he'd get in trouble. And then he'd go to my mother, and the last thing you want is mama coming after you. Yeah. And so I learned to be impulsive, very impulsive, and it had to be right now. And that's a pattern I'm learning to break.
I have done that with my husband.
Oh, well, sometimes, I'm sure he deserved it.
Ask for, okay, this is so silly. Dinner's ready.
Mm-hmm. And you don't hear anything, nothing happened.
Nothing. Dinner's on the table.
Nothing.
Are you going to come eat?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, anger. Oh, my God. I used to get so mad.
You felt dissed.
I felt so disrespected.
Yes.
So disrespected.
And it had nothing to do with you. He was just doing whatever he was, finishing up a TV show or finishing up building something, or, whatever he was doing. Yeah.
Yep. Calling, asking for help. And by the time he'd get there, I already figured out how to do it myself.
Yeah.
No urgency to respond at all.
Now,
at all.
And I'm not saying this is him. However, that can be going the opposite direct, like
yes,
is
yes,
okay. Yes. So that can be wounding as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
now
that's part of that, really not being, like we were talking about earlier. There are people that take not being of it to the extreme. That could be that, not saying that, again, not saying that he does that, but that could be part of that.
And that scenario, we have worked through that. We have learned how to communicate and, talked
and a lot of times that's all it is. It's communication.
What's really funny is sometimes now I'll holler, dinner's ready, when it's not, because there's like, I'm expecting that lag time, and he'll come in the kitchen and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Well, and that's something you would do like with my kids, because the kids, they're always in the middle of something
Right.
when you're making dinner, right? So, man, I wish I would have thought about that back then. Yeah. Like, okay, 5 minutes before I'm actually putting it on the table, tell the kids dinner's ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, they
Yeah.
were always, yeah,
It's
funny.
so funny. And it's not often, but I did that actually not too long ago.
Yeah.
Just, yep.
Yeah.
He came in and I'm like, oh, sorry. Oh, we could laugh over it.
I was trying to manipulate the situation. Sorry about that. But that's
It's been out of my body. I was, 20 years in the past.
Yes. And just being in that place, oh well, their dinner will be cold then. Whatever, it's up to them. I'm staying out of it. I did what I made dinner.
And
I'm gonna
yeah,
sit.
I had finally gotten to the point of, well, I just start eating.
Yeah,
I would just,
absolutely. And that's how you're not of it.
Yeah.
Here it is. And that other person, obviously it's not that important to them to have a hot meal because they took their time because they were finishing something up or doing something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's absolutely your prerogative.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
I know, I'm feeling done. How about you?
I think so.
Yes. All right. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you, everybody.
Yes.
We would love to know your comments, your stories.
Yes, please.
How do you stay out of it?
Yes.
Or do you need to figure out how to stay not being of it? Yeah.
And everyone has places in their life where they can and other places where they
Sure.
can't. So it is not like a one size fits all or whatever. Like just because you do it in one place, it happens all over it. It doesn't work that way.
Nope.
No, I am absolutely brilliant in some areas in my life, and other areas I'm just dumber than a box of rocks. So it's just part of being human.
It is. It really is.
Yes. And we never opened space today, and I apologize. I just realized that now.
Oh, wow. No, we didn't.
Yes. So, oh well, it happens.
It does.
We did so much before getting on here.
Yeah.
Sort of forgot. So
we really did. So we hope you will like, subscribe, share, and again, comment. And if you're listening to this streaming, you can text us. Yep.
Yes, we love getting those. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Text the show, I think it says.
Yes.
Love that.
And you can find us at TCS everydaypsychics.com. If you want to know about our services or would like a service or whatever, just know more
about schedule a healing or a class.
Yep.
Yeah. That would be great.
Thank you so
much,
much,
everybody.
All right. Bye.
Bye.